Hi, hey Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. I can't put that down. Anyway, I wanted to do a rambling Russ here of a couple of things, a couple of different subjects. I want to talk about my shop lights, about what's going on there that I think you might be interested in, and also I want to talk about my portable power unit for a second. I have some updates about that, so let's just ramble. Let's start with the portable power unit. And if you go back and check those, what that is, I have those two batteries in there. And I told you I was going to upgrade this. Well, now I'm starting to think about how to make it look nicer, how to put a decent handle on it so I can pick it up or roll it around. I'm making it better and look a little better. I'm cutting down my compartments so that they're just the right size for the different components. And I also bought this panel and some inline fuses. This all runs on 12 volt. It's a voltmeter, a cigarette lighter, and a USB ports, two of them. So these three here will kind of give me a direct DC hookups and let me know what my status my battery is as I go along. So this will be a handy improvement. I wanted to get the wiring all set up and tied up and that sort of thing. But also, this is really weird, is that I got to thinking about putting my writing more up. And so for those of you that have another battery, I took that battery. What I do, first of all, let me say that when I put that mower away for the winter, I do two things. I run it completely out of gas, then I push it into the shed, and I take the battery out and I bring it in here and keep it up on the shelf so it stays warm. Then in the spring, I charge it up, take it back out, throw it in the writing mower, and I'm off and running again. So, but storing that battery and taking it in and out, putting it there, got me to thinking, why don't I just have a compartment on my portable power unit where I can put that battery in there, hook it up, and now all of a sudden I've increased my battery storage from 70 amp hours of battery capacity to 105 just by taking that battery. And it's sitting around anyway in the winter months, so in the winter months I can just throw it into my portable power unit and get even more battery capacity out of it. Also, I'm trickle charging that all the time, obviously, and that's part of the strategy. So now my battery is going to stay charged up, and it'll probably be better because it's kind of being active year-round instead of sitting for 4 months a year or whatever. So I think I found a home for that battery, and you know what's really cool? It multitasks now. I love multitasking. So anyway, it got me to thinking about the batteries. And as a normal homeowner, if you think about your portable power unit, if you run across the problem that the power goes out and you got to have that portable power so you can at least get communication of what's going on, okay? I actually have two batteries. Actually, I have three batteries, if you think about it, that I can draw on if I have to during unusual circumstances, harsh conditions. So if the power's out, sometimes the beds are all off, you have to rethink other things. But there's no reason why I couldn't take, I have two cars. When the power's out, I could actually pull a battery out of one of those cars, throw it into my power unit, and I increase my capacity, or make a power unit that when I take the battery out and throw it in there, I turn it into a power storage unit. You don't need the trickle charger or that sort of thing necessarily with it because you can take it in and out of the vehicle. I can use the other vehicle to jumpstart it to get it running again. So I actually can use a car battery as a resource for storage batteries during power outages, if you think about it. And I'm not saying, oh, take your battery out if it's the only battery you got. You got to be careful you don't run it down. But you should think about it. Is all I'm saying is, how can I apply what I just heard to my own personal situation in my own home? That's a resource that I never thought I had before, was those three batteries for portable power. So it's something I'm going to think about so that if power goes out, that's another resource that I can draw on. Just a thought. Anyway, enough about portable power. I just wanted to tell you about those use of those batteries and how they can actually become useful to you even during a power outage. The other thing was about my lighting. And if you've watched my other videos, last year I talked about how in my strategy, I took all the 4-footer fluorescent lights out because they just, half of them weren't working when I first moved in here. And I put single fixtures lights up in their place. And this was about 8-10 years ago. So that's when the government was pushing us to make incandescent bulbs obsolete, and they were pushing the CFLs. I didn't really like the CFL starting off, but I've learned to really like them now that I have them in the shop. But the thing is ironically, they're now obsolete. It's only been 8 years, and I can't buy these anywhere anymore. So once these things start going out, and they last about 2, 3, 4 years so far. I don't think I've replaced in 8 years. I've only replaced 2, so they should last a long time. But my concern is that when I finally run out of my stock of CFLs, and it's going to happen, what do I do for a replacement? Well, I finally have figured that out. So once I get these, because I stayed with this principle of a universal fixture that I can put any kind of bulb in that I want, because there's a lot of different bulbs that will screw into the same outlet, if you think about it. And so going with a standard outlet like that was my principle why I did what I did. Otherwise, I'd have to pull the fixture and everything out and put something else up. This makes it a lot easier to transition to something else by sticking with that idea. And that was the whole idea behind that video. So, yes, I'm rambling. But the point of the whole thing was, now I'm going to have to transition again. And guess what? I can now go to these LED floodlights. I bought these about 3 years ago, and I stuck them outside because I kept going through bulbs out there with those outdoor bulbs, the incandescent ones. And I put these LEDs in, and for 3 years I haven't had to change them out. It's amazing. So they still put out as much light as the others did, so they do fine on that. So I thought, why not just, instead of the CFL up here, I just screwed one of them into a light up here. And it's right here in the shop. Let me show you real quick. It's right there. So that's it right there. And it kind of gives you the same amount of light in here that as you transition from a regular CFL bulb, like right there, that one is a CFL, and this one is an LED. But what's strange is if you look at the lighting, look at all the light that's hitting the ceiling. And this one, the lighting is pretty much directional straight down. So actually, in some ways, that bulb is even more efficient. Which brings up another point where I did, a while back, I did some light shades, shop-made light shades last year. I'll leave a link to that in the description too. Where I took some tin foil and cardboard, and I made these angled light fixtures. You can see that one right there has one on it. Look at the ceiling around that one. You have that shadow. Everything is being pushed down, just like on this LED. It's very directional. This helped that become directional, and actually that light is much more efficient now. Now, yes, I say cardboard and tinfoil, and somebody kind of cringed at that, made a comment. And at the time I thought, he may be right, he may not. Because one thing I do know, that if I reach up there and take these bulbs out, even while the light's on, the LED and the CFL, I can still take them out with my hand. They're not that hot that they're too hot to the touch. Which means that you're not going to be able to get any kind of spontaneous combustion or anything out of it, because it had to get pretty hot to catch that on fire, just from heat. So I'm very comfortable that it actually is not a bad thing. I'm always around here when they're on. I've been watching them carefully. I've been feeling them. And I've had no problem with worrying about it being too hot. So it's up to you. It's your judgment calls. I suspect that maybe a little magic is involved in my shop. That's why it works. So maybe it won't work in your shop because you don't have the same magic that I do. But anyway, I just wanted to show you. It was amazing how much light is around that. And when I went to those shades, that's what we got. So, well, that's what I wanted to talk about, my lighting. And I'm really glad that the lighting has changed. But at the same time, I'm glad I'm going to be able to transition without it being a major operation of replacing these fixtures all the time. So, if you start your lighting in your shop and you got to put lights in, I'm telling you, single light fixtures is the way to go. Don't listen to them when they talk about those 4-foot fixtures or the specialty ones. I've been very happy, and it's been very cheap doing it this way. So, if you want to save money and you want your lighting, this actually, now I'm more convinced than ever that this was a great idea. It was just to go to these fixtures. So anyway, my portable power unit, enough said. I'm going to quit rambling. I really want to thank you for stopping by and staying to the end if you're still there. So, because I do ramble on these and that makes it kind of tough. So, if you like this video, please say so. Most importantly though, come back again because I'm nowhere near done. Thanks. We'll see you again soon.